Seeing things through a literary agent's eyes. What is it like for them? And what do you have to know about a literary agent that will help you get published? We're going to be answering those questions, and we're starting right now. Amateur writers have this idea that they write a book and send it off to a literary agent. They get accepted right away. And because they've been accepted by a literary agent, then that's it. They're going to get published. The book will be in a bookstore within a matter of weeks. And a lot of writers are surprised when A, they're rejected, and B, they find out the hard way that just because you have a literary agent doesn't mean that you're going to get published. It simply means that you have an agent who is going to help shop your novel to publishing houses. It is in fact them who decides whether or not your book gets published. The literary agent can accept you, but that doesn't mean that your book is going to be in bookstores right away. They will do everything they can to help get your book into bookstores, but it is up to the publishing houses to decide whether or not yours is, in fact, chosen amongst many to be published. A professional writer will understand the mindset of a literary agent and what it's like for them on a daily basis and how to work with them. One of the most important things that you need to understand is that a literary agent, a lot of them don't have, it's not their full-time job. In fact, the majority of literary agents have full-time jobs, and then they come home from that job, and that is when their work as a literary agent begins. They have to go through countless emails, countless phone calls, reading submissions from unknown authors. There is a lot of work that goes into being a literary agent. A lot of amateur writers have this belief that literary agents just sit around bored, waiting for a submission to come their way. And as soon as a submission comes in, they accept it right away. The fact is, literary agents get countless submissions every day, and they have to choose amongst one or two of them out of the countless to send to a publishing house. Because one of the things you have to remember is that literary agents do not work for the publishing houses. They're independent. A literary agent's paycheck comes from the sales of your novel, and they submit your novel to the publishing houses. And if that book gets chosen, then the literary agent finally makes money. But the problem is that if a literary agent submits countless bad novels to a publishing house, the publishing house is going to lose respect for that literary agent. And they're not going to start returning phone calls or getting back to that agent right away, because the publishing houses are going to get annoyed with that literary agent sending them bad novels. Literary agents are putting their reputation on the line with every book they submit. If you submit a book and they like it, they sent it to a publishing house, they're putting their name on the line. If that book is really bad, the publishing house is going to look at that literary agent and say, why are you sending us this? And there are countless literary agents out there. And if the publishing houses get annoyed with one agent, then they're going to start looking at the other agents with respect and not return the phone calls of that other agent. No agent wants this. They don't want to be in the bad books of the publishing house. They want to submit a book to a publishing house that the publishing house is going to say, we love this, thank you, you got more? That is the dream of all literary agents. What do all literary agents want? They want to be able to find that one author that can make them enough money where they can be an agent 24 hours a day. They don't want to have to work a daytime job and then come home to be an agent. Think about yourself. When you come home from work, you're tired. A literary agent, they come home and they have to do so much work, and they may not even receive a dime for all of their work, but they do it for the passion of the love of writing. When you submit a book that has multiple genres or books that have the wrong target audience, it makes it really difficult for them to believe in your book and submit it, because the publishing houses might reject it, and then they reject the literary agent for sending in countless bad books. You need to work with the agent and Literary agents have submission guidelines. Right there on their website, they tell you specifically what it is that they want you to send them. And when you send them something opposite, what you're saying to the literary agent is, I'm not a team player. I do things my way. And this is not what the agents want. Because if you're difficult to work with now, with the submission guidelines, imagine how difficult it's going to be working with you down the road. Because when a literary agent accepts you, it's like a friendship. It's like a marriage. Because you're going to be working with that agent for years, maybe decades. And that agent wants to get along with you. They want to like you as a person. Because if you're a headache in the very beginning, you're going to be a migraine down the road. And literary agents are constantly on the phone dealing with emails. What they don't want is some amateur writer who thinks that they're the next Stephen King, hounding them with phone calls every day, checking up, checking in. What they want is the ability to do their job right. But at the same time, it is important for you to choose a literary agent who you believe in. You want to make sure that they are in your corner. Don't just accept any agent that says yes, because is that agent truly looking out for you? If the answer is yes, then that's amazing. But you always have to make sure that that agent believes in your book as much as you do. Because the last thing you want is an agent that's going to say yes, but then put your book off to the side and forget about it. Chances are, if you're an amateur, you're going to be, and if you do get accepted by an agent, that agent's going to be up and coming as well. A lot of amateur writers, they want to get accepted by the writers who work with Stephen King and the J.K. Rowlings and the Dan Browns. The fact is, it's really difficult to work with those agents because those agents work with well-known professional writers. If you're new, chances are the agent will be new as well. And that can work in your favor because you will have each other's back. But the idea of submitting your novel, which is brand new, to an agent who represents the likes of Stephen King, chances are, now we can't say it's 100% that you'll be rejected, but chances are, if you're an amateur, you're going to be working with a literary agent who's just starting out as well. Because literary agents have to remember, it's about what they do today that matters. It doesn't matter if they submitted a book 10 years ago that was accepted and published and did really well. Yeah, that's great 10 years ago. But what are they doing today? Literary agents are always putting their reputation and their name on the line with every submission. They know that if they submit 4 or 5 novels that don't sell, that don't get accepted, it's going to hurt their name today. Yeah, they might have been successful 10 years ago, but what are they doing today? So when you submit a novel, they're asking themselves, is this novel going to help me as much as they can help you? If an agent makes a suggestion on how to fix the ending or make better characters, they're not doing this to insult you. Why would an agent do that? Why would an agent go out of their way to ask you to change the ending just to make you feel bad? If they like your novel, and they're asking you to make changes, it's because they want to help you. They want to see your book get published. They could easily have rejected it and said nothing. But if they're making suggestions, it's because they believe in your book and they want to make your book even better. So don't feel insulted by suggestions. It doesn't mean that you have to take them. They're just trying to make your book even better. They're in your corner. They're not your enemy. They're on your side. And don't feel bad if a literary agent is going through the slush pile of the countless submissions and they have a negative mindset. Because the fact of the matter is, like 90% of the books submitted are not ready for publication. And they have to go through the countless submissions to find your novel, the one that is ready. They have a negative mindset when they sit down at the computer. Because there was a time back in the 70s and 80s where submissions were actual papers in envelopes, and their office would be stacked with them. Thankfully, today, because of emails, submissions can be just a simple email, taking up a whole lot less space. but they still have that negative mindset because they know when they sit down to write or to read the submissions, they know that the majority of them are going to be awful right off the bat. And they try to have a positive mindset, looking for that diamond in the rough. That's your job. Your job isn't to stress over the literary agent. Your job is to write the best novel you can. Force the literary agent to want to accept you because your novel is so amazing it cannot be rejected. They cannot turn it down. Literary agents want to find that book that they have to turn the page. They have to know what's going to happen next. They're not a literary agent when they're reading. They're a fan of reading. They're a fan of novels. And your job is to bring that part of them to life, to shut down the literary agent part of them and say, here's a novel you're going to enjoy, just like the books you used to read when you were young. As a writer, that's your focus. Don't worry about the world of literary agents and being rejected or not. Your job is to write a novel that they cannot put down. If you like this video, be sure to check out my website. I'll leave a link down below where you can go there right now and you will be amazed by the countless blogs that I have that will teach you how to become the greatest writer you can be. Because that's what I want. I want to help you get published. I want to see your book in a bookstore as soon as possible. In fact, be sure to watch this next video right here on why you shouldn't mix genres in your first novel. Why? Check out that video and I'll explain it in detail.